Hello my friends and heathens out there in YouTube land, J4D3 here. It's been a while since I posted, about, a week or so, I'm sorry about that. It's just been kind of crazy going on around the heat, I guess. So anyways, what's going on with me? I've had kind of a shitty week. So I ride the bus into work, and I park my car, the sweet Jeep Cherokee, down at the park and ride where I meet the bus. And last Tuesday, when I got home from the bus to get in my car, I turned it over and it was really loud, like a muscle car, almost like there was no muffler attached. As I sat in my Jeep, and I heard this pop 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 of the engine, I thought to myself, oh wonderful, I bet someone just cut off the catalytic converter. And guess what? I was right. So while I was gone at work, some asshat crawled under my Jeep with like a battery powered Sawzall or zip cutter, cut off the catalytic converter off my Jeep and stole it. It was just, I'm so mad. Now if you don't know what a catalytic converter is, it's part of your exhaust system that basically scrubs out toxins. But the way it does this is it runs them over platinum. So they're worth quite a bit of money, and these thieves, crackheads, whatever you want to call them, steal these things and then sell them for the scrap, recycle them. And it's pretty low. It's pretty low just to go and vandalize someone's car. And I kind of look at the bright side as if they didn't take the entire Jeep, so I still have a car. But I'm sure it's going to be very, very expensive to fix. So that kind of bites, because I've been trying not to work any overtime so I could do more artwork on my comics and children's books and things. And now I'm probably going to have to hit a couple, like a couple weeks, a month or more of weekend overtime so I can pay for this thing. Anyways, I'm sorry to start out this video with such bummer attitude and news, but that's what's been going on with me, guys. My car got vandalized by some assholes. Anyways, excuse me. Anyways, well, there you go. It helps me to share and talk about this kind of stuff with you guys, because I don't really talk to the people at work about my problems very often. So this is like my outlet for that. So I guess we'll talk about the picture now, right? This is a blood elf from the World of Warcraft games. It's drawn on super thin vellum marker paper by Canson, and this is quite a big piece. It is buried under a pile of drawing books, so I can't tell you the size. But I think the long way, it's like 24 inches. It's like 24 by 18, maybe. So it's at least twice as big as what I usually draw on. And the problem with this kind of paper is it holds the ink very well, but it's super, super thin, so it can get wrinkled easy. So you got to be very careful with it. You can see where my left hand keeps going over the corner. There's a wrinkle on the bottom, and then the very corner of the paper is kind of starting to bend up, because that's the way it is. It can crease and crumple very, very easily. So anyways, I don't really know why I use this paper, because I have it, and it's kind of fun to experiment with it using the ink from markers. I'm going to start getting into using color pencils along with my ink markers. I think that'll give me more tone variation, because I need to step up my game somehow. You know, bring it to like the next level. And I'm going to start that in July. I just ordered 2 sets of 150 count each color pencils, or by Prismacolor, and a new printer and scanner. So the other part of this is I'm going to start making some prints of this stuff. So that'll be kind of cool. That way I can show my appreciation to my subscribers. Maybe I'll start doing some raffle giveaways and mailing out prints to you guys for all your support here on YouTube. I always thought that would be kind of cool to get something like that in the mail. And when I do these prints, they're going to be numbered and very small run, like 10 to 30 maybe at the most. And I'll be printing them up borderless on the 11x17 format. So if anyone's interested in something like that, tell me. One thing about this picture as I was drawing it that I thought was kind of funny is I went with a green theme because blood elves, they're addicted to magic, and they're addicted to this stuff called the Fel, which is, according to my son, it's like it's magical energy that absorbs life and turns into arcane power. And Fel is like these green glowing stones. And then, because she's a blood elf, I did the rest of her armor in red and purple and brown, because that's kind of like their color theme. And then when I started coloring it and really looked at the artwork, I noticed those are Christmas colors, and I just made like an evil Santa helper. At least that's what I was kind of thinking when I was looking at it afterwards. I should have probably went with like green and blue or red and blue, but you know, hindsight's always 20/20. The other thing I like about World of Warcraft is their weapons just kind of like stick to their belt, and so I wanted to kind of capture that aesthetic. So that's why she's got her sword, but then she's got like that cool mace with the power radiating around it, just kind of like stuck there, like it's a Batman magnetic utility belt. And you know, why wouldn't you just stick your mace on your back like that? The other fun stuff I had working on this picture was the skin tones with the blood elves. I usually see them as almost like Norwegian or Scandinavian fae. So I usually draw mine with blonde hair. I know you can change the color of their hair to be whatever you want in the game, but most of the NPCs in the game are like this Aryan-looking blonde, very fair skin and blonde hair archetypes. So that's what I went with the skin tones. And then her hair, I did a super light, oh, it's almost like a fluorescent, or not fluorescent, it's like a pastel. yellow. So the first yellow I laid down was Y11, which is called pale yellow. And then I went over the hair with Y21 buttercup yellow. These are Copics that I'm talking about when I'm talking about doing their hair. Yeah, see here you can see me laying down all the red. And I don't really think it looked Christmassy until I started doing the shading on the red ink to give it like depth and shape. That's barely beige. I know that without looking at the pen cap because I just got that one and refilled it. I think it's E11 in Copics. Yeah, there's the pale yellow. You can barely even tell I'm laying it down, right? Even though this pen's pretty juicy, it just doesn't have a lot of color there. I probably need better lights in my studio so you can pick up the subtle colors, but you know, it is what it is right now. Yeah, I do like this picture. I like the fact that she's very, I don't know, kind of belly dancey, right? The way her arms pose over her head like that, either like she's blocking out the sunlight or she's like undulating around dancing. In the game, if you play undead characters that are the girls, I think they're called the Fallen or Forsaken, they have a dance icon where you can dance around, and they dance like belly dancers. I don't remember what the elves dance like, but anyways, I'm kind of on a tangent here. So we'll go back to the picture. I laid down tons of different shades for her skin. I wanted to keep it pale. So, you know, she's kind of like this, I don't know, kind of like a shut-in guard. Doesn't go out in the wild a lot. That's kind of what I was thinking. You know, maybe her job is to help guard, like, the mage towers. Because you always need some muscle sometimes when everyone else is a spellcaster. Also, to show that she has fel poisoning, I did a light green into the white parts of her eyes, so her eyes are completely green, and that's a sign of, according to my son, that's a sign of you're being, you know, saturated with like fel radiation gets into your system like that. And I guess most blood elves are completely addicted to fel magic. So he was like, "Oh, good job! You really nailed that." And I was just like, I was just trying to, you know, not leave him white. Yeah, so you can tell like on the red armor, there's a lot of yellow in it, and then purple and brown, and and orange, and that's what I laid down a base color for the armor, and then used those different colors to shade it in. And I think it turned out pretty good. Also, I'm using gold on the mace head and pommel guard. Gold. I'm using yellows and oranges to make kind of like a gold earth umber type color. And the reason why I did that is I didn't want to have any blue or gray steel in this picture. I wanted to keep everything fairly warm. Even the greens are kind of warm. Excuse me. Yeah, that's a fel magicked mace. So that's why I used the green to show off the power radiating around it. I don't know, I think I could have probably done a little better, like maybe use the technique called Kirby Crackles, which is a technique that Jack Kirby, the comic book artist, would do to show off something had an energy field around it. I'll probably do that on the next one. I think that's a good idea. I'll use green Kirby Crackles. And then these are my master micro pens. I got this set for like $15 off Amazon. It's 16 pens. And to help the picture kind of pop off with the armor pop off the page, I wanted to do a darker outline around it to give it some, I don't know, give it some weight or a feel that's more substantial. And then later on I do a white outline after I throw in some background colors to throw the whole character off the page. I think it's a pretty good technique to help with definition of some of the more detailed parts of her armor. Yeah, and there I'm just throwing in, that's dark suntan, and I'm putting in areas along like the ridgeline of her armor to show that there's kind of shadowed. I put lines on her cleavage also to show the crease. It's always important to do that with skin tones, so you'll give more depth and like a 3D effect, at least in this style. You know, this kind of comic-y style. Comic book-like style. Yeah, and way darker eyeliner too. That's something I've been doing a lot lately too, is darker eyeliner after watching Vikings, because I like the way it accentuates Floki's eyes when he does his signature eyeliner. So I think it adds more emotional content to just about anyone. You know, draws the focus more to their eyes. Now the one thing I did screw up on this picture is the background. I like this mountainy shape that I'm drawing in right now. In fact, I like the mountain shading also, which I do with a darker umbra color. Yeah, right there. And I think that's a Winsor Newton pen. And then I go back into it with a fat Copic, and I just like the way that it turned out, layering those different colors together. Almost like there's a sunset coming just over the top of those mountains. Now this is the part I don't like, is the pen was running out, is this gray color, and then I add a blue and like a I don't know, like a weird peachy skin tone. What I should have done probably is drawn like a castle or something going on in the background instead of just focusing on the elf. Oh, look at that, I made a mistake, went out of the lines. I just don't think I got enough good shading on her skin to make her the star attraction of the piece like I should have. So that's why the background needed to be interesting, and I failed at that. But overall, I think it's still a pretty successful picture. My 17-year-old son wants it for his bedroom, so I'll probably give it to him. He's really into WoW right now. Of course, you know, but everyone in my household's really into WoW. My kids and my wife. They were going on to add some highlights with this cheap gel pen. Let's see if I can find the box real quick, if I still have it. And I don't. I bought this box of these gel pens. Here's one of the gel pens for like $4 off of Amazon, and they're flowers Kawachi pens. So like all my favorite gel inky pens, it's looks like it's made in Japan. But they're super cheap, and they don't work super well, except on this I'm saying super all the time. They don't work the best except for on this paper that's so thin. You know, they don't work as good on Bristol for some reason. Maybe it's because this paper has no give to it, right? You can't really mark up the paper with creases using pen pressure. So the pen puts its ink right on the top layer. I'm just guessing on that, but it works really good on marker paper. So it'll probably be the same on like Express It blending cards, things like that. I should do an experiment and try some Express It and see what it acts like, or maybe even Copic paper. I have some of that laying around somewhere. But yeah, that's me doing the highlights. So there's reflections on everything that needs to be, you know, look hard or wet, like her eyes or her armor. Anyways, looks like we're just done now, heathen. So thanks for listening to me rambling. Take care. Be good to each other. J4D3 out. Peace.